Freelance writing is a great way to start a home-based business. It's fast, easy to set up, and you can start making money almost immediately. There's never been a greater demand for content online. Even though it's said that by 2020 over 75% of all internet traffic will be by video, it is the well-written article on a web page that attracts the attentions of the search engines such as Google. For this reason alone, there will always be room for good quality freelance writing. And writing SEO articles in a well-structured format for websites is just one of the lucrative niches that you can exploit as a freelance writer. I want to take a couple of minutes just to outline the structure of the course before we move on to the detailed tuition. Let's take a look at the structure of the course and identify the elements that you're going to learn about. Every professional freelance writer needs a word processing tool. Some tools are essential and some others streamline the overall process. In this part of the course, we're going to learn about a couple of useful word processors, Microsoft Word and OpenOffice.org. We're also going to look at an application called Evernote, which is a very useful supplement to both the above word processors. Quality is vital to your beginning and ongoing success. Although word processors normally feature spell checking, proofreading goes much further than this. Small errors can make all the difference between a good and a bad review, affecting the appeal of your online presence. Communication and project management tools are just as important as the craft of writing itself. Once you succeed in winning a project, good communication with the client is crucial. As you progress in the business and find yourself juggling several clients, it becomes necessary to efficiently manage your work. In this section of the course, we take a look at the different content styles and the different niches that you'll be asked to work on. Website articles with structured SEO content will be one of the staples of your business. Search engine optimization is the term used to describe the structure and content of a web page designed to be easily found by a search engine. In this video, you'll learn how to write such an article correctly. The sales letter is a form of writing that has one objective: to get the reader to take some action. You will learn how to structure the writing into a persuasive argument and understand the vital elements that a sales letter needs to be successful. The press release is widely used by webmasters and marketers for both SEO and sales. It has specific requirements and a standard format required by the industry. It's also intended to be SEO orientated. It's an important resource and should be one of your targets. With the advent of Kindle and self-publishing, more and more people are writing and publishing their own novels and how-to books. Novel writers often have difficulty in condensing their novel into a few short sentences. This is called the book blurb and appears normally on the back jacket cover. A blurb is a condensed form of an entire novel, but it's different in a couple of ways. Firstly, it's intended to engage the reader's curiosity so that they want to buy the book. Secondly, it gives nothing away. It doesn't reveal the important plot twists. Writing a blurb for a book is a skill that often gives authors trouble. Mastering this skill ensures ongoing work for a freelance writer. More and more writers are turning to the movies to create scripts instead of writing novels. Like the book blurb, the description of a movie is a particular skill in its own right. A movie synopsis represents a condensed version of a film, but it doesn't give away the secrets. Two more aspects of movie script writing can be offered to paying customers: writing the log line, which describes the film in one sentence, and creating a title. The log line describes a movie in 1 or 2 sentences and is designed to hook the reader and make him want to watch the film. Ebooks tend to be non-fiction how-to guides, and they are in hot demand as information giveaways or for marketing purposes. Typically, a customer is too busy to write 10,000 words themselves, and so the freelance writer is a valuable resource. Once you're prepared and ready to start making money, it's time to make yourself known. Choosing the correct sites and creating a winning profile are crucial to success. Given the chance to submit a proposal to an interested client, you need to ensure that it's the best it can possibly be. In this lecture, you will learn how to craft a winning proposal. Obviously, the first tool that a freelance writer needs is something to write with, a word processor. In the next lecture, I'm going to look at 2 powerful word processors and also a third option to help you make the right choice. A freelance writer needs a powerful word processor. There are many on the market and they have very similar features. In this lecture I'm going to look at 2, Microsoft Word, because it comes installed on most Windows-based computers, and OpenOffice, basically because it has many powerful features and it's free. I also take a look at Evernote, which is not strictly a word processor, but helps greatly in organising your work, and it's a mobile application that you can use to make simple edits. The first thing a freelance writer needs, of course, is a word processor. Now, most word processors have similar features, so I'm going to look at just 2 of them in this lecture. I'm going to look at OpenOffice, because it's free and it has powerful features. Microsoft Word, because it comes readily installed on most Windows-based computers and also has enhanced proofreading capabilities. And briefly look at an application called Evernote. Evernote is useful because it can take your notes anywhere that you go in a mobile format. OpenOffice is a suite of tools which include a word processor and other applications such as a spreadsheet similar to Excel. Standard features include a spell check, word count, search and replace, as well as extensive formatting capabilities. A very useful feature is the PDF export button on the upper toolbar. This is normally an add-on in many word processors. Files can also be saved in Word and other formats. If you're starting out on a very limited budget, then it's a very useful tool as it's completely free. It's constantly developed and improved, and the open source software is available to all coders. Although the native format for file saving is called .odt, you can save it in mostly any form of rich text or normal text, including Microsoft Word format variations. For some years, OpenOffice was my favourite word processor until Microsoft Word reinvented itself in the form of Word 365. Word 365 has all the functions we normally associate with a powerful word processor, but it delivers so much more in the form of enhanced proofreading capabilities. The researcher function helps you to find web content. Let's say you want to write an article about a certain subject, for example, the adverse effects of steroids on bodybuilders. You simply use the research function to find and display online articles to discuss that subject. Then all you need to do is assimilate and synthesize the results into a coherent, well-written form. But of course, be careful not to copy. The editor function is so much more than a grammar or a spell checker. It can detect overusage of words, poor sentence structure, and overuse of adjectives, and much more. For a single-person license, the cost is quite reasonable, and it's a fantastic tool for the freelance writer. It's beyond the scope of this course to delve into the various capabilities, but I thoroughly recommend it. Evernote is a very useful application because it's mobile. You can take your articles anywhere and synchronize across all your devices, your desktop computer, your iPad and your phone. It's free for the basic version, and you can install it on a USB key, for example, taking your work and an application wherever you go. In the next lecture, we're going to look at other tools that you'll need in your business as a freelance writer. Proofreading tools that will improve the quality of your writing. The object of this course is to provide you with the expertise and the tools you need to create niche-related articles and writing to a high level. If you incorporate all the recommendations into a profile of a professional freelance writer, you'll be ahead of 90% of the rest of the crowd. But before we move on into learning how to create these content styles for any particular niche, we need to talk a little bit more about overall quality. If I were to write down the important attributes of a successful freelance writer, it would look something like this. Of course, on-time delivery and fulfilling customer requirements are important, as is over-delivery and communication. But if you scan down the list, you can see one feature that is really important to me, and it should be to you. That feature is quality. Quality in everything you do. Of course, overall quality is a combination of all of these elements, but it starts with the quality of your written work. Before the client sees your work, it needs to be of the very highest quality. The first line of defense for improving your quality is proofreading. Proofreading not only includes spell checking, but also grammar, punctuation, the structure of your sentences, and overall flow and readability. The following tools will help to improve your writing and raise your work up to the next level. Whichever word processor you decide to use, you will need extra tools to check spelling and grammar. If you purchase Word 365, then these are not strictly necessary. That said, a double check is always a good idea, and it doesn't take long. Remember your quality. Grammar checkers can either be standalone programs installed on your computer or accessed online. The best of these not only detect and point out errors, but also suggest improvements to your text. Grammarly is a very popular tool for freelancers, as it checks for multiple types of errors: spelling, grammar, and context. The paid tool has a free option with reduced features. If you can afford the monthly subscription, it's a great tool that will definitely help raise your written quality standards. SlickWrite is a free online application that analyses your writing, providing various reports on word usage and readability. It's a very useful tool for indicating overusage of common words and other structural issues that we generally don't think about. These issues can make your writing difficult to read. Among the extensive features are a readability index, according to US grades, sentence length and estimated reading time. Language Tool is another online proofreading tool with a free option and a distinctly different feature. It can operate in 20 different languages. Not only that, but it can auto-detect the input language. Error detection is color-coded. Simply click on the highlighted word to see the advice for corrections or replacements. There is even an option to add it to OpenOffice, which is a free word processor. This is the LibreOffice option shown on the screen. The tools discussed give you good capability as far as proofreading your basic articles go, but your arsenal of tools is not yet complete. Once you've produced your work, you need to communicate and organize. In the next lecture, we'll look at tools that will help you to do that. On the other side of the quality coin is how you organize your projects and your clients. Effective communication in the negotiation, delivery and post-delivery phase is extremely important to your overall approach. In this very short video, I'm going to gloss over some very useful tools for communicating with your clients and organizing your work. Skype is still a great solution for individual and group consultations, although I use it almost exclusively on a one-to-one basis. If you need to conference with a team, then the best option, in my opinion, is Google Hangouts. Although Hootsuite is not strictly a communication tool, it can save a lot of time in maintaining your social media presence. Your activity on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn and others will demonstrate your availability to prospective clients. Regular postings of good quality writing will enlarge your network and draw customers to you. Hootsuite is free and it does a great job. Now you have some tools set up allowing you to communicate freely and effectively with your clients, it's time to think about transmitting your work, saving it and organizing your projects. The best option for both storing and transmitting files is, of course, the cloud, in the form of either Dropbox or Google Drive. Both tools are free and carry the advantage that you can access your work from any location. If you have a Gmail account, simply go to drive.google.com. Sometimes smaller files can be sent to a client by email, but these services are great for the bigger projects. Simply send the customer a sharing link and they can access the project whenever they wish. Trello is a web-based application that helps to track projects and clients. You can add to-do lists and delivery dates to ensure that you never miss a deadline. In the next section, we're going to look at the actual content you will write for various niches. And in the next video, we'll look at the first one of these, which is writing an article for a web page using keyword research and search engine optimization techniques. The same principles that a copywriter applies to a physical sales letter are exactly the same as those applied to a sales letter online, or a landing page, as it's called, a sales page on the internet. The only difference being that the client will want the sales page, the article in the sales page, to be search engine friendly and rich in keywords. But apart from the SEO aspects of such a page, the main purpose, the main drive of the text is to get someone who's reading it to take action. This action could be to buy a product, to sign up to a newsletter, or to give them their email to download a free product. A prospective buyer has inbuilt resistance to taking action, and it's largely subconscious. The idea of the text and the wording and the way that we structure a sales page on the internet is to gradually overcome these barriers to purchase, or these barriers to signing up to an offer. In this way, the sales letter has a definite structure, and we can identify the various elements of this structure and copy them to produce our own great text. Using a template containing all the right elements is a must for any professional freelance writer. Filling and expanding the categories about to be discussed is a time-tested way of building a powerfully persuasive piece of writing designed to get a reader to take action. Be sure to download the cheat sheet for this and all the other content styles from the resources section for that particular lecture. The title is the first thing the reader sees, and it is extremely important. 80% of your readers will stop reading at this point if the title does not grab their attention. Certain words create interest when used in titles or headlines. Words such as discover, how to, secrets, and words like this because there is the promise of something being revealed. And words like warning are important because people do not want to make a mistake by doing the wrong thing or by doing nothing at all. Whatever you state in your title must be true, and you must be able to prove this in the rest of your text. Next, we identify the problem. Everyone has one. That's why they're reading your article. They're looking for something to solve that problem. Show them that you understand what the problem is, and you gain credibility as a source for the solution. Introduce yourself and declare why you're qualified to present them with a solution. Normally, you would be an expert in the problem area or someone just like them who had the same problem and this solution solved it. List the benefits, keeping in mind that they should explain how the product will improve their lives by addressing their problems. Brainstorm and use bullet points. Be careful not just to list the features. Here's an example of the difference between the two. The XL2 is the fastest computer in its class. And this is the benefit. The XL2 will save you hours of valuable time. It's that fast. Social proof is a way of showing that many other people swear by the product, and the reader will tend to feel secure. Social proof could be in the form of testimonials from previous buyers, or likes and follows from social media. Describe the offer and make it absolutely irresistible. Show a reduced price with a guarantee and a free bonus. This is an offer that just cannot be refused. A guarantee is essential to remove the feeling of risk from any buy action. Apply limits in the form of a time constraint or restrict the amount of the product available. This creates a sense of urgency in the case that the prospect is still unsure whether to buy your product or not. The call to action should be direct and explicit. Tell them exactly and plainly what it is you want them to do. Either click here, fill in this form, leave your name, or buy now. Download the sales letter template from the resources area and use it anytime you're asked to write this type of content. One last word, get enthusiastic about your work. Talk to the client, get involved with the product. Find out as much as you can about the product or service and give the client 10–20% extra, more than they ask for. In this way, you'll get a great reputation and you'll never be short of work. In the next video, we're going to look at how to create a press release. A press release has a journalistic structure, which is to say that it's economical with words. It isn't a place for flowery statements or lengthy prose. It's a place for delivering facts and information as efficiently as possible. In this lecture, I'm going to show you the various elements of a press release and where they fit in the overall layout. Before I start, I'd just like to remind you to download the press release template and an example in the resource section of this lecture. The accepted industry standard layout for a press release comprises of 9 parts, designed to provide information to the reader in a structured and logical way. Research shows that titles with certain attributes do better than others. In general, only 20% of the readers will get past the title, so it needs to be catchy and intriguing. Here are some general guidelines. As with the sales letter, how-to headlines generally lead the reader into the text, because people are curious about new things. Titles with numbers tend to perform better than those without. Use short words for a direct impact. Keep it simple and don't exaggerate. Use bold font slightly bigger than the body. Write the press release completely before the title. It's generally easier. Here are some examples of eye-catching titles. Subtitles are not strictly required, but can be useful when used to expand on the main title. Don't capitalize the first letter of every word, but just the first word. The subtitle is often in the form of just one sentence. The date should be added in the form shown, followed by the opening sentence, which is an important summary of the whole press release. A strong first paragraph further grabs the reader's attention and provides important facts. The main body of the press release contains 5 to 6 paragraphs that tell the story. Paragraphs should be short, with just 3 to 6 sentences. Be objective and don't waffle. Keep in mind that the average press release length is just 500 words. Include a great quote from an expert that is fresh and startling, or offers a new perspective. Avoid the clichés that are prevalent in that particular industry. Of course, spell checking is a must, as with all the work that you produce. Reading the press release aloud is a great idea and serves to double-check your grammar as well. And don't forget to include a URL in the text body. I always add a boilerplate, which is a short statement about the company, what it does, and any other relevant information that will be helpful to help the reader understand the context of the press release. And lastly, add contact details, which should include the name of the media contact within the company, his or her title, the company name, telephone number, email, and website URL. It's a great idea to offer a distribution service as well. There are many services for distributing press releases online, some of them free and some of them paid. Now, as you can imagine, the paid ones will give much more value in terms of site authority, coverage and reach. The paid services also give a do-follow backlink to the website, which of course is a major concern for online entrepreneurs. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to write a book blurb. A book blurb is the concise writing you find on the back sleeve of a novel cover or book cover. It basically tells you what's happening inside the novel, and it makes a reader want to read it. It has to be exciting, truthful, but very concise. Writing an article for a website is probably the staple diet of many freelance writers. Such an article has a twofold purpose. First of all, it needs to be very well researched and interesting, with a structure that appeals to a reader, so that the reader wants to keep on reading right until the end of the page. Because for a webmaster, the time that you spend on a page is very important for its authority in the eyes of Google. The second important purpose of such an article is to increase the rankings of the web page and the website in the eyes of Google search. In the past, it was possible to do this by sprinkling the main keyword, the search term for that page, into the text, and Google would find it. In 2018, this is too simple. The Google artificial intelligence algorithms have evolved greatly to such an extent that not only do they look for the main keyword, but they look for related text and related subjects within the article. The relationship between the text around the main keyword and the keyword is called the LSI, which stands for Latent Semantic Indexing. It's just some indication of how the text relates. Your job as a freelance writer is to produce an article for the webmaster who is short of time, so that it fulfills his requirements, it's very interesting so visitors return again and again, and Google finds interesting and rewards the webmaster with a higher ranking. In the past, it was sufficient to add a small percentage of an article's text in the form of the target keyword. For example, if a webmaster wanted to be found by Google for a certain term, he would create a page and make the URL the same as the main keyword. He would also title the page with the keyword and sprinkle the same keyword throughout the article. Not only does this technique fail to deliver high rankings in 2018, it can actually reduce them. Logically enough, the search algorithms are looking for exactly the same thing that a human being is looking for. Well-structured and relevant writing that adds value, giving them the best possible match to their search term. The relationship and relevance of the article text to the target keyword is what drives the rankings. This is called latent semantic indexing, which basically indicates that Google's sophisticated AI understands not only the contextual meaning of the words, but also the depth of understanding represented by the writer's work. This means that you should write first and foremost for people, producing interesting prose that engages your reader. It isn't enough just to state facts or well-known statements. You should go for a lively, informative style that addresses the subject comprehensively. The main keyword should only be mentioned once every 100 words. The rest of the text should contain synonyms and phrases related to that main keyword. These phrases are described by the term LSI, latent semantic indexing, and can either be generated by Google or a special application such as lsigraph.com. You could also use Google Search Auto-Suggest in this way. When you enter a main keyword into Google Search, you will see other terms appearing below. This is called the Google Auto-Suggest. Take a note of all the auto-suggested keywords. Now from that list, take the first keyword and enter it into Google again, noting all the auto-suggested words for this term. Repeat this until you have about 100 or so. Another way to gather semantically related keywords is to look at the bottom of the Google search page. Here you will see a list closely related to the main keyword. A web page article well optimized for the search engines has the following attributes. Use the main target keyword for the title. You can use an LSI keyword to strengthen the title in the description that appears in the HTML tag for the web page. LSI keywords can also be used for the chapter titles. And finally, use an LSI phrase that is closely related to the main keyword right at the beginning and the end of the articles, in the first and the last 100 words. The main keyword throughout the article should appear between 1 and 2% of the time. An LSI keyword should appear 2 to 4%, which is 2 to 4 keywords for every 100 words. There are many tools online, such as livekeywordanalysis.com, which helps you to find the density within your article for various phrases. As with other forms of writing, always give your customer a little bit more than they ask for. In the case of an SEO article, if they ask for 1,000 words, give them 1,200. Instead of providing just a text article, provide the HTML markup codes so that they can see where the headings and the main title tags are and how they can be used. So instead of presenting your article simply as a piece of text, you provide the actual web page. They can decide whether to use it or not in its entirety, but they will see that you have gone over and above the call of duty and provided something extra. This ensures that the client will be back. In the next video, we're going to look at how you can create a powerful sales letter. A book blurb is that description, those few sentences that you can find on the back of any book cover. It describes the main points of the novel and the story contained inside. Once the writer has committed his story to paper in the form of a novel, which may contain between 80,000 and 100,000 words, they find it very difficult to create the book blurb. The description that describes what's happening inside the story without telling the story. For a new author, there are 3 things critical to initial sales. Of course, the book cover needs to be professional, well designed and appealing. The title should be quite exciting and indicate the kind of struggles people are going to find within the pages. But the biggest factor by far is the book blurb, the description we find on the rear cover. If the reader is not excited by this short description, then they won't buy the book. Even if the novel inside is brilliant, it's to no avail. If no one wants to read it, it just lays there and gathers dust. If you can master this skill and advertise it in the right forums and the right marketplaces, your work will be in demand. Except for a catchy title and interesting cover design, the author's best chance of making a book sale is by hooking a browser with the blurb, the description on the rear of the book cover. The challenge is to capture the essence of the story, generate empathy for the hero, and also an emotional response, all within 150 words. Let's begin. So, who is the hero? Give a brief outline, starting with his role in life. Does he have a job, for example? How old is he? How would you describe their character? Of course, our characters are complex, but each of us has 1 or 2 characteristics that are stronger than the others. Choose an interesting thing that the hero does or that has happened to him and amplify it a little to make it interesting. Characters don't exist in a vacuum, and someone reading the book cover will want to know some basic information about the setting. Where are they? Where are they living? Describe the world the hero lives in. Are they alive in the present time, or in the past or the future? Exactly where are they located, either in this world or on another planet? Specify the city, the country, if they're in the jungle or in a desert. Get down to detail. If the novel is set in a fantasy world, try to paint a picture of its reality in just a few short words. What is the hero's normal life like? I stress normal because it's important to establish, because conflict is going to be introduced when events will change his life dramatically. The hero should have great dreams and desires that are put in danger by someone or something, which will be the villain of the story. Describe the problem, which is what happens to turn the hero's world upside down. What is the goal or the quest that they have committed themselves to? To make a great story, someone or something must stand in the way of the hero's dreams. Let the reader know what this is. And finally, the stakes of the hero not reaching his goal must be high, and may include misery, banishment, loneliness, or even death. This kind of service is much in demand from self-publishing authors. It's very difficult sometimes to step back from your work, from a novel that you've written, and write a concise description, the same that is required on the back of the book cover. In the next video, I'm going to cover a small niche that is rapidly growing. This is the art of writing a query letter for someone who's written a movie script and is trying to sell it. You could be forgiven for thinking that once a movie scriptwriter has finished his work after some months of working every day to try and get his ideas down on paper in the right format, that the job is almost done. In fact, there's a very important stage that's yet to be tackled. Before any script can make it into the production setup to be made into a movie, first, it must get past an agent or a producer. An agent or producer doesn't simply read every script that comes across his desk. They read what is called a pitch letter or a query letter. The query letter is very short, and it just gives you the basic idea and the basic information about a movie plot and what happens within it. And again, just as with the authors of novels, scriptwriters find this part of the task very, very difficult. If you can master this art of creating the idea of a movie on a single piece of paper in the right format, then your services will be in great demand. It's worth repeating that pitch letter services charge between $75 and $100. So it's a niche well worth mastering. The difference between a successful screenwriter and a failure comes down to just one thing. Not a great movie script or a fantastic idea, but a great pitch letter. It's not only necessary, but absolutely essential if a script is to be noticed. Master the structure. Advertise on filmmaking forums and you'll quickly find work. The guiding principle is simplicity. The letter must be short and hook the reader from the very beginning. The object is to get the agent or producer to ask to read the movie script. Let's take a look at the structure of the perfect pitch letter. First of all, introduce the title of the movie. This is simply done in one sentence, and the title of the movie is in capital letters. Then you state the genre. By placing this early on in the letter, the agent or producer knows if he should continue or not, because they deal with different genre, so they may not be interested in that particular style. Creating a great logline is perhaps the most challenging part of the letter. A logline describes the whole movie in just 1 or 2 sentences. In this example on the screen, we can see the logline for the film Terminator, written by James Cameron. And in this example, we see the logline for Die Hard with Bruce Willis. You can see that in this logline for Die Hard, it gives a lot of information in a very short space, with very few words. We're given the hero's name, John McClane, his job, NYPD, he's a New York policeman. His conflictual quest is to save some hostages. We have the villain's name and his status. It's Gruber, and he's a terrorist. We know when, because there's a Christmas party involved, and where, because it's stated that the conflict happens in Los Angeles. In addition, we're also told that McClane's wife's last name is Gennaro, which serves to intrigue us a little bit. Why should their names be different? This is just one more reason why we should be curious about watching the movie. The best way to develop this skill of writing a movie logline is to search for successful movies in the database at www.imdb.com and analyze the loglines. You should write a very brief synopsis. Introduce your main characters, explain what they're trying to do, and what barriers or obstacles they face in their quest. Finish off the synopsis by stating what will happen if they fail at their task. What are the consequences or the stakes of the game? The synopsis displayed is extracted from the pitch letter sent to promote the movie Terminator, written by James Cameron. The challenge is to make every word count, keeping the paragraph short, but including the essential ingredients of the movie. The letter is finished with an author biography, but a very short one. It could be the easiest part of the whole letter, but it should also be crafted carefully. The bio should focus only on positive aspects of the author's talents. Whatever positive aspects the author has, try to turn them around to the advantage of the movie script and show how they're relevant. However, if the author has no relevant diplomas, awards, or experience, it isn't necessary to state this, because this is negative. The bio should contain only positive elements. Finding these positive elements and stating how they contribute to the script is part of the way in which you sell the author and help to get his script read. As you can see, the pitch letter or query letter is very short. It's got a very simple format, but it's this very simplicity that makes it difficult for the scriptwriter, who needs to step back from his work and provide just a few short sentences to convey the idea of his movie. Expertise in this niche would be a very useful skill to add to your list of services. Word for word, it's probably the best paid freelance gig out there. In the next video, you'll learn how to create, structure and format an ebook. Not so long ago, it was quite difficult to get your book published at all, either conventionally or online, until, of course, Amazon changed all this with their Kindle platform. Many online entrepreneurs recognize the value of offering an ebook for sale, or either as a giveaway in exchange for an email address, but they don't always have the time to write a 10,000-word ebook, and this is where you come in. Normally, a client would give a subject area and some broad guidelines of what they'd like to see inside the book. It's up to the freelancer to research the subject and to structure the chapters in a logical format so that it's appealing to read and informative. Normally, the freelance writer also provides a formatted copy that is ready to upload to the internet. Most clients have a need for a non-fiction book, so this will be the focus of this lecture. Now let's assume that a client has given you the bare minimum required, just a subject and some broad guidelines of what he needs. The first step is to outline the chapters to provide a framework of small chunks that you can fill in with content. But what is the quickest way to do this? I call this method the brainstorm by tens. Let's start with a subject. I'll choose fishing. This will be the seed word for an initial brainstorming session. This part of the process will be fast. Place the seed word in a circle by itself. And now think of any words you can associate with that subject and place them around it. It should be very easy to associate 10 words with the subject. Now choose one of the words and repeat the process. To start writing, write 10 sentences as an introduction to the whole book. This introduction will include all the subjects indicated by the first 10 words of your brainstorming session. Let's call this the first level brainstorm. From each of these words we can derive a chapter title. For example, different types of hooks, or sea fishing. Now we have chapter headings, write 10 sentences at the beginning of each paragraph, and a further 10 sentences for each new word associated with the chapter titles. These are the second level brainstorms. The total sentence count will start to look something like this. For the book introduction, we have 10 sentences. These include the words from the first level brainstorming. For chapter 1, write 10 sentences as an introduction, and another 10 for each second level brainstorming word. So for the chapter, you'll have a total of 110 sentences. Repeat this for all of the first level brainstorming words, and you'll end up with 10 chapters, 110 sentences each. So the total sentence count will be 1,110. We can say that the average number of words per sentence is round about 8. So your ebook will have approximately 8,880 words. In the early days of online publishing, file formats were quite demanding, and they had to be precise. Amazon Kindle and the other major platforms now accept multiple formats such as EPUB, PDF and doc. However, unwanted variations in layout are quite common using EPUB and PDF. The simplest way is to use minimal formatting in doc format, which is Microsoft Word and is widely used. The detail of the formatting is beyond the scope of this course, but there are many free resources online that can help you. Unless you're proficient in Word formatting, the most convenient option is to use a template. I've included a template in doc format and also for OpenOffice at the end of this lecture. I've also included a step-by-step detailed instruction of how to format using Word. And now that we've covered some main areas of content writing, we're going to move on to how we spread our presence online. In the next video, we're going to look at our profile and where you can post the profile. Any freelancer will tell you that the hardest part is the beginning. It's getting things moving, creating a profile and getting those first jobs. You'll spend quite a lot of your time in the early days creating that perfect profile, working out how to write a winning proposal and spreading your name far and wide. In these early stages, the pitch or your presentation is crucial. It's worth emphasizing again that your online presence and profile must be very, very professional. First of all, prospective clients want to see your face, but not just any old photo will do. An image of your face taken at a slight angle is best, as it shows your facial features. People want to relate to a human being, an individual. And make sure you shoot the picture against a neutral background. This is your business, so why not have the photograph taken by a professional? All freelancing sites have a section where you can enter a description of yourself and your services. This is the perfect place to sell yourself to prospective customers. It absolutely must be well written, with perfect grammar and punctuation. After all, it's the first contact with your writing skills. And just like a CV, you can list any achievements, qualifications and relevant experience. At the basic minimum, you should provide your name, relevant experience, the skills that you have in any particular niche, and ending with a call to action. Such a call to action could be a small video, if that's allowed on the site, or leave your Skype name and ask any interested parties to call you for a video chat. This is your chance to shine. If a particular freelance site has an entrance test, complete it to the best of your ability. Always remember to include a link to your website. If you don't have one, you should create one. You can also link to examples of your writing work uploaded to Dropbox or Google Drive. Profile hacking is quite ethical and a great way to build a good profile. You simply browse other people's profiles and note the features that you like, and then you model your own on the best practices that you see in the marketplace. It's a common saying, to be successful, copy successful people. And now you've created your perfect profile either under your own steam or by profile hacking, it's time to start posting it online. Initially, I would sign up and post your profile to these 4 websites. The sites I recommend initially are Upwork, Fiverr, Freelancer and iWriter. Upwork, Fiverr and Freelancer are freelance sites for many kinds of gigs, from coding to writing to photography. iWriter is just for writers. There are others, of course, but I recommend that you start with these four. Some sites, like Fiverr, is a marketplace where you can offer a certain gig for a price starting at $5, anywhere up to $350, $400, depending on the extent of your services. Other sites are more client-based, where customers post a gig and some work that they want completing, and you can browse the requirements and decide to apply or not. Of course, the marketplace is saturated on all of the sites, but the good news is that they're not saturated with the very best quality work. It's important that you raise your game to the very highest level. If you produce the highest quality work, then you will be in the top 10% on most of these sites, particularly on Fiverr. I've used Fiverr and similar sites in the past when I've been short of time and I needed to get some content together quickly, and I've been very disappointed in the quality. Problems ranging from grammar, spelling, basic punctuation, even up to and including downright plagiarism, where articles are copied directly from the web and presented as their own work. So you can see on a site like Fiverr, if you produce the very best quality work and it's not plagiarized, you will gain a good reputation. You should spread your wings by browsing the freelancing sites, but in addition you should create profiles on all the social sites like Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Twitter, Reddit, particularly LinkedIn and Tumblr, and anywhere else you can think of. Create the profile as usual, as we discussed, and upload a sample of your writing. Email several high authority blogs and offer to write a guest post. Post an article for free. This link can be added to your profile to show extra credibility. If you don't have one, create a website with a professional sounding name. Include samples of your writing styles in different niches. Create a YouTube channel and upload videos. Introduce yourself and what you do. Upload 2 videos a week with writing tips or any other observations about freelancing or writing in general. You could write about grammar or spelling or anything at all related to your craft. Create an infographic and upload it to Pinterest. Also include videos from your new YouTube channel. Search and join business groups on Facebook. Any business will do. They often need writers. Join in discussions on these groups, but do not push your services. Simply join the conversations, offer relevant observations, and try to help. At the end of any post, simply leave a link to your website. If you have some spare money and you would like to promote your business to try and get it moving more quickly, you could also try Facebook ads. But you really do need to take care because it's a great way to lose money. One of the secrets to freelance writing is to spread your reputation and knowledge of your services far and wide through social media, however and whenever you can. In the first week or two, you'll spend maybe 60% of your time just spreading your name and your services across the social media sites. In the next lecture, you'll learn how to create a winning proposal. Although sites like Fiverr do have some job postings, mostly it's a marketplace for service providers. Other freelancing sites behave more like a marketplace, where customers post a job with their requirements, and the freelance writer can browse the work and decide whether to apply or not. As you can imagine, with these websites, there are hundreds of people trying to get the same work. How you present yourself when making a proposal is incredibly important. It's how you get your foot in the door, how you get noticed. Once you are noticed and you win a proposal, then it's the quality of your work that will shine and will ensure that you get other work. Here are some tips for writing a winning proposal. Many freelancers are in too much of a hurry and don't read the project requirements properly. An employer doesn't grant the jobs on a first-come, first-served basis, but by considering the proposals. It's important that the employer understands that you know exactly what the requirements are. Even if you are the 10th person to apply, if you demonstrate a complete understanding of what is required, your application will stand out. Keep your proposal clear, precise, and to the point. It's of no interest at all to the employer that you need the money. And it isn't the place for listing your previous successes. The employer can refer to your profile to get this information. Many freelance sites have a project clarification board where you can ask questions about anything that you don't understand. Use this and don't bid on any project unless you understand everything that is being asked for. Tell the employer exactly how you will execute the project. It isn't enough to say, "I will deliver your project." Break it down into research, outline, style, and anything else that will give the client confidence in your approach. As a beginner, it's tempting to sell your services too cheaply. Of course, you should be competitive, but you shouldn't be the cheapest. A customer rarely offers a project to the lowest bidder, but tend to aim for the mid to lower midpoint, choosing the proposals carefully, looking for value for money. Offer a full refund if the client is not happy for any reason. This will give confidence to the employers, who will reason that you know exactly what you're doing because you guarantee it. They simply have nothing to lose. Finally, quality is always number one. Proofread and rework your proposal until it's absolutely perfect. Even one spelling error is enough to lose you the job. Even one spelling error is enough to lose the job. How can you deliver an error-free project if you have a simple mistake in your proposal? This is the way an employer thinks. Once you've won a project and you've delivered it, you need to nurture the relationship with this new client. You want to nurture the relationship so that you have repeat work, but also to try and use their influence to get other clients. When you deliver a project, include a cover note with the following points. The completed project is now available on Google Drive, and here is the link. I've enjoyed working on your project and I look forward to working with you again. I would be happy to revise the work if you'd like any changes. When you're happy with my work, please leave a positive review on the site. It's a great help for my future business. I'd be pleased if you would recommend my services to friends and colleagues. You've almost completed the course, and I'll wrap it up in the next video. You will find that the marketplace is almost saturated with people looking for writing work. But don't be deterred, because it is not saturated with top quality people. This is your goal, to become one of the top people in the field. Your first task is to market and promote your skills and services. In this course, you learn how to create several styles of content. We looked at how to create web pages, ebooks, press releases, book blurbs, and even movie script pitch letters. You should offer all of these services at the same time, on several different platforms. This is one of the secrets of making a living online, to diversify. Let's say you post your profile and offer your services on 4 different platforms. Your first preference is to write web pages, so you offer this gig on Fiverr and 3 other sites like Fiverr. So each day you have 4 opportunities for someone to see your offer while browsing the sites. Now, if you offer services covering SEO, press release, book blurbs, movie pitch pages and ebooks, it's just basic math, and it multiplies the chances of you finding work. Make the most of your social contacts, join groups and become involved. Never pushing your services, but helping and joining in the conversations. Try and think of new ways to reach out continuously every day. You could search for writing questions on sites like Quora and answer them to the best of your ability. Be persistent, do not be deterred, and you will succeed. I wish you the best of luck. Goodbye.